Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Megan Lee.
Welcome to our highlight show, bringing you the best picks of the week. Here's a look at what's coming up. Whitewater adventure. Our reporter got wet at the Extreme Kayaking World Championships. Growing furniture. How one designer makes trees grow into the shapes of chairs and tables. And Top Chef. Hélène Darroze is named world's best female chef. Extreme sports have taken off in popularity over the last few years. Aside from extreme hiking and biking and skiing, there's also extreme kayaking. Well, here, as in most extreme sports, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Euromaxx reporter Linda Betke took up the challenge during the Extreme Kayaking World Championships in Austria. Now, she was coached by the best and ended up having the ride of her life.
A picture-perfect idyllic mountain panorama. This is Austria's Ötztal Valley.
Look at this, it's really beautiful here and so quiet, but appearances can be deceiving, trust me.
This is another side of Ötztal. This year it's home to the Extreme Kayaking World Championships. 175 athletes from 30 countries are competing for the title. And here I am. Everybody's looking for the zig line, which is the ideal course through the rapids.
This is one of the toughest whitewater routes in the world. Some parts are called Champion's Killer or Go Left or Die. Who wants to volunteer for stuff like this? Me, but to be honest, at the moment, I'm not quite sure if this is a really good idea for me to try this out.
I'm pretty nervous. To survive this challenge, I obviously need help from the professionals here. They recommend that I strengthen my mental powers, eat healthy food, and I'll need a bit of luck too.
I've got lucky charm, I've got all my stuff in my DW bag. Deutsche Welle, that means German wave. Hello, that must be good omen.
This is the first year that they'll be crowning a women's world champion in this event. Norway's Marianne Sida is one of the top candidates.
I do it because it's really fun. It's a very clear challenge to yourself. And of course, when you do it nicely, you feel very successful.
If I want to try this out, what will you tell me?
I think you should go with someone that's experienced, that can teach you the basics, because you can't go alone. We want to give you that confidence.
And who could be better than a three-time world champion? New Zealand's Sam Sutton is at the top of his game right now.
Sam, be honest, what was the worst thing that happened to you?
The closest call I've had is a few times I've just been held underwater for almost a minute or so, and then you're starting to wonder if this is it. But apart from that, I've just broken my nose several times. You can kind of see it right there. It's probably the most crooked nose I've ever seen.
Nevertheless, you need this adrenaline charge.
You want the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward kind of thing, and that feeling of adrenaline that flows through your veins is it's very addictive.
How does it feel like?
It feels really similar to when you try to land a plane. It's exactly the same feeling, but you're just going down way faster. Some kayakers say they don't get any fear, but I think that's wrong. I think everybody naturally has fear, but it's about analysing the risk and seeing, like, am I going to make it, and believing in yourself, and you can feel it. So we're going to go out and we're going to see in a tandem kayak if you've got what it takes to potentially be the queen of zig line for 2016.
Yeah!
We are checking our gear and talking about safety measures before we head out.
Obviously, if you're sitting up and I'm trying to roll us, I've got your whole upper body weight to try lift, to try roll.
Okay, so I have to make me small.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm really, really nervous because I know there's some waterfalls around the corner.
And we are off. That water is cold, only about 5 degrees Celsius. We soon find out how that feels when we do our first Eskimo roll. Now I'm sure that it couldn't get any worse. But I'm proven wrong when we get to the steep incline. I'm going down.
This was definitely the craziest, but also the best thing I ever tried out. And I thought a roller coaster was scary, but trust me, a roller coaster is really boring. Oh my God, thank you so much.
Nice job. Crushed it.
And I'm still alive.
Back to the competition. Norway's Marianne Sida won the first women's title. Here's Sam Sutton out on the course. He ends up in third place overall.
Congratulations.
And I'm also happy as can be. This experience was really something. I might still be telling my grandchildren about it when I'm old and grey.
Berlin is awash right now in colorful light. That's because the city is hosting 2 events at the moment where multimedia artists are showing off their brilliant creations on 190 buildings across town. The Berlin Festival of Lights draws millions of people to the city every year. So without further ado, let's shed a little more light on the subject.
Light transforms the facade of the Konzerthaus on Berlin Gendarmenmarkt into a stage. A Humboldt University building is awash with vibrant color. And Berlin's Brandenburg Gate becomes the canvas for a 3D video art installation. The Berlin Festival of Lights is a real hit with tourists. 2 million people reportedly came to the event last year.
The way it all fits onto Brandenburg Gate is just fascinating. It's amazing. I'm so impressed. It's crazy.
First time in Berlin. We love it.
I think it's very beautiful because there's something going on in the whole city and it's a lot of fun.
The Victory Column is often a source of controversy due to its military symbolism. For the artist group Resorb that was tasked with illuminating the monument, it was a huge challenge. They decided to transform it into a symbol of love and progress. Resorb have made a name for themselves internationally with around 100 light installations.
It's exciting, the opportunities you have as soon as darkness falls. This moment is a kind of proverbial sunrise. You can give people a unique, magical feeling.
The light installation for the Victory Column came to life in this Berlin office. The group spent around 3 months perfecting it. Before they began, they learned everything they could about the monument and its history, taking some 400 photos to capture every possible detail.
We have a camera drone with rotor blades that flew around the monument so we could take photos from every angle. That gave us a complete picture of the object and the space around it. And that's the basis we use for animating everything else. At the end, once we finished all the effects and the light effects, we use film editing software to work out the final finished film, which is then projected onto the column.
Apart from Resorb, some 150 artists from Germany and abroad are taking part in this year's Festival of Lights in Berlin. They're presenting everything from glowing angels at Marlene Dietrich Square to a house of cards at Potsdamer Platz. The 126 illuminated playing cards are designed to reawaken childhood memories. This year, there's a Festival of Lights Awards competition being held at the Brandenburg Gate, featuring 6 finalists from 6 countries. One of the artists is Sylvia Isaac from Spain. Her show reflects German themes, like beer gardens.
For me, it's very special to participate in this festival and to have one of the finalists, and also in a monument, so famous monument, and for its history and all what it involves.
This is the 11th annual light show in Berlin. Its organizers have presented more than 1,000 illuminations to date, and in doing so, created a brand known around the globe. The Festival of Lights was also seen in New York for the first time in 2014.
New York really was something special, and we're going to do it again next year. We keep touring internationally. This year we'll be in Luxembourg in December, and we're in talks with Rio and many other cities. The dream of connecting Berlin to the world through light and light art is coming true.
Berlin will be presenting itself in a whole new light until October 18th.
Turning now to an interesting concept for furniture design. For artist and designer Gavin Munro, woods and groves are not only places of inspiration, they are his workshop. In fact, that's where his ideas begin to sprout, literally. Instead of cutting down the trees, he lets his tables and chairs grow from the roots up. It's a long and complicated process, but the end result is quite unique.
This garden in the British county of Derbyshire is the heart of Gavin Munro's craft. The designer shapes trees during their growth to create unique pieces of furniture.
Some are more suitable to be a chair back. Some where there's a little bit more space, like this one here. This could fill out to become a table. Yeah, it's sort of looking for patterns.
Without sawing planks or gluing wood, Gavin harvests his tables and chairs straight from the field. It's a childhood dream come true.
The first sort of seed was sown when I was a little boy, and my mum had bonsai trees out the backyard, and one of them had overgrown, looked a little bit like a throne, and it was sort of one of those, you know, those images that stick in your head and stay there. It was one of those, and I don't know, it's something I've sort of slowly been thinking about for a while.
And here's the result. 400 pieces of self-growing furniture. And as a trained carpenter, he knows a few tricks, like using wires and plastic frames to mold the trees into shape. He even grows mirror frames and lampshades. Willow is a particularly good wood to work with. After it's harvested, the furniture needs to dry out for around a year. Then Gavin gives them the final touch in his workshop. The creations are all one of a kind, because no two trees ever grow exactly the same way.
It started out as a kind of art project, let's make a few things, see what we can do, and it's really starting to become an actual manufacturing process and system that's repeatable and scalable. So it's yeah, it's all of these things. It's kind of art and design and horticulture and all mixed into one.
Gavin's first table was ready to harvest in January, 10 years after it was planted. But he's completely changed his method since then, especially for chairs.
So actually what we do is we now grow these upside down. So you come in here, spread out along the chair, and then go off, so you have 1 to 2 to 4 legs.
This process only takes 5 years, depending on the type of tree. Gavin and his colleagues planted these willows in 2012. The crucial moment has arrived. They're removing the frames to see their first upside-down chair of the series.
Oh my God! Wow. Wow, we really have waited years for this.
That's really sturdy compared to what I thought it was going to be.
This winter now, what we're going to do is we're going to graft these together, graft everything else together, and then let it thicken. So here you can see, we've already started down this side, and you can see how it's all grafted together.
Many pieces have already been sold in advance. The lampshades are worth over 1,000 euros each. Chairs cost up to 5 times as much. But Gavin hopes his production methods will gain long-term popularity in the industry. This would allow prices to come down.
Now we've got the kind of basic framework of how to do this en masse. So yes, this can scale and work anywhere where trees can grow. They're all over the world. So it's viable, as viable in the north of Scotland as it is on the equator.
The first full-grown designer chairs are set to be ready next year. Until then, Gavin Munro will have to fall back on more conventional products when taking a break from work.
Now, when you think of the best food in the world, of course, France comes to mind. So it's no surprise that the world's best chef is French. Hélène Darroze was crowned top chef earlier this year, and it's quite an honor. That's because in France, professional cooking is a man's world. Only 16 out of 609 starred chefs there are women. That's less than 3%, but Darroze has 2 Michelin stars, and she's set to appear in the French version of the popular reality show Top Chef. Well, she invited us into her kitchen for a chat.
French chef Hélène Darroze at work in the Paris restaurant that bears her name. She also heads a 2-star restaurant in London. Darroze specializes in the spicy cuisine of southwestern France, with influence from the Basque region. Britain's Restaurant magazine named her the world's best female chef for 2015.
That award changed a lot in my life. I had more customers at my 2 restaurants, and it changed my image and my clientele. Now people come from all over the world. It's a case of life before the award and after the award.
Hélène is a 4th-generation chef. Her great-grandfather owned a 2-star restaurant. But Hélène's talent was discovered by 3-star chef Alain Ducasse, who she interned with.
He told me that I had what it takes to become a chef and told me to get started. He gave me a lot of encouragement and support, so I thought long and hard about it, and then I decided to take the challenge.
And she had to work hard to get ahead in a profession that's dominated by men. There are more than 100 3-star chefs worldwide, but only 7 of them are women, including Italian chef Annie Feod and Spain's Carmen Ruscalleda.
This is a very demanding profession, and it's tough to combine it with a marriage and a family. You work until late at night, so you're never home to put your children to bed or read them a story, and that would be really difficult for a lot of women.
Journalist Eric Solal has written a book about the situation of France's top female chefs. He says things are improving, but real change will take time.
This profession has been dominated by men for a long time. Men explained that there were several reasons for this. The pots were too heavy, or it was really hot in the kitchen. And besides, having a woman in the old boys' club would stir things up. These days, it's not enough for a female chef to merely have talent. She has to prove that talent and then work her way up.
Hélène Darroze was the inspiration for the tough-talking female chef in a Disney movie.
How many women do you see in this kitchen?
Well,
Only me. Why do you think that is?
Well,
Because haute cuisine is an antiquated hierarchy built upon rules written by stupid old men. Rules designed to make it impossible for women to enter this world. I know the Gusto style code.
The screenwriters even flew to Paris for extra insights.
I memorize all these recipes.
For weeks, people were coming to the kitchen to watch my gestures, film me, and ask questions. But I don't think I'm like the chef in the film. Maybe I used to be more like her, but nowadays, I'm not as tough anymore. I'm a woman with all its advantages and disadvantages.
One oft-cited reason for the gender imbalance among Michelin star holders is the difference in styles.
To earn a star, you have to cook in a certain way. You need technical mastery and to be able to create certain subtle flavors. That appeals more to men, while women prefer the straightforward pleasure of eating.
In Hélène's case, That's resulted in creations like this, porcini with eel and garlic sauce, or oyster tartare with caviar.
I cook with the emotions of a woman. We have different sensibilities than men. It's something you can see and taste.
Michelin-starred chef, manager, and mother of 2 daughters, a challenge that she's mastered. She's far from the only woman in her restaurant, where 40% of the staff are female. Her next goal, apart from chalking up another Michelin star, is a new, affordable restaurant with a distinctly feminine touch.
All right, now we're off to Spain's southern region of Andalusia. Here, travelers have their choice between visiting ancient cities like Sevilla or Cadiz, or taking in the nature in one of the national parks. Whatever your preferences are, you're likely to find it in this region of Spain.
It's early morning in Andalusia in southern Spain. We've come here to the Coto de Doñana National Park. It's the workplace of biologist Jose Juan Chans Pusada. He has the job of monitoring the park's biodiversity. The national park is at risk of drying out because farms have been drawing heavily on the groundwater. The area's rich flora and fauna is at risk.
Doñana was declared a national park in 1969. The park is very important for bird life. The region is a wetland. Many migratory birds from northern Europe spend the winter here, and the region is famous for its diverse ecosystems. There's bogland and bush. It's even home to the lynx.
The Iberian lynx is on the brink of extinction. Today, the biologist is lucky enough to spot 2 of them hiding in the undergrowth. There are only a few hundred left in Portugal and Spain. The majority live here. At the edge of the national park, Javier Hidalgo is busy training. At 63, he's one of Europe's oldest professional jockeys. He started riding when he was a little boy. Riding is a traditional pastime here.
It's a gentleman sports. It's a sport of kings. Well, I think if we have a country that traditionally needs a horse to move across it.
Not far from the national park is the town of Sanlúcar de Barrameda. It's renowned for its historic buildings, such as the 15th century Castillo de Santiago. The harbor of Sanlúcar. This is where Christopher Columbus set out on his 3rd voyage to the New World. Today, Katarina Heyer has set sail from here. She finances her research about the local whale population with whale spotting trips.
Pilot whales and 3 kinds of dolphins live here permanently. They don't migrate. Fin whales and sperm whales are visitors here, and killer whales also pass through every year.
The whale spotting trips in the Straits of Gibraltar last more than 2 hours. One of the most interesting cities in Andalusia is Cadiz, with its 18th century cathedral, and narrow alleyways, and traditional tapas bars. As darkness falls, the streets of Cadiz begin to come alive with music. The region is famous for flamenco. The dancing and singing go on late into the night, and it's been that way for generations. The people of Andalusia are very proud of their traditions.
And that wraps up the show for this week. Now, don't forget, you can always go to our website for more information on our show, and you can also watch the reports again. We're also on Periscope, so check us out there. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in, as always, and we will see you again real soon.